Oh, hello. Didn't see you there. Well, just reading Fantastic Four Full Circle by Alex Ross. Seems only fair since I'll be doing a commentary on Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. And, well, if you want to watch the movie while listening to the commentary, it's available to stream here. Always subject to change at any moment. But anyway, let's get on our silver surfboards and enjoy this movie. It's clobbering time. Flame on. Welcome to Commentary Companions. I'm your host, Tony Garcia, and today we'll be doing a commentary on Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, released in 2007. You know, I actually remember seeing this in theaters when it was first released because, like I said, I've always been a fan of the Fantastic Four because of the movies starring Ian Grufford, Michael Chiklis, and Jessica Alba and Chris Evans. And, I like how the Marvel logo features some Fantastic Four comics. But, like many of the live-action Marvel movies, this was actually my first introduction to characters like the Silver Surfer and Galactus. It's just unfortunate that it had to be this movie, because, at the time I didn't know that Galactus was this giant guy with clad in purple armor. And I think, while I understand, the idea of Galactus being not human to emphasize him being a world consumer makes sense. I mean, it's a total disservice to the way he was designed in the comics. But anyway, I'm going to be giving my opinion as I pretty much rewatched this because the last time I rewatched it, I think I was in my adolescence. It's kind of considered an improvement over the first film, but not by much, apparently. Also, this movie is notable for being the first live-action Marvel movie in over 20 years to be released with a PG rating. The only other time a live-action Marvel movie has ever gotten a PG rating was in Howard the Duck, released in 1986. I can't believe I mentioned Howard the Duck, but I think it was inevitable that I would mention Howard the Duck. But I must assure you, despite the fact that it's been 40 years since the movie was released, I am not going to do a commentary companions episode on Howard the Duck. You can quote me on that. It's like, even I draw the line at Howard the Duck. So I guess the list of films I won't do a commentary companions episode on are Howard the Duck, the Tom Hardy Venom trilogy, Morbius, Madam Web, and Kraven the Hunter. And that's pretty much, I should probably write that down, and I have it. You can even quote me on what I won't do, which is pretty hilarious. But, Oh, wow. He was frozen today. I swear, he must be on a floor, but actually it is a decent effect. There's Giza, Egypt, Giza. Ooh, snowing in Egypt. That's a rarity. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. It's a winter wonderland for the Sphinx. Try not to denial it. Okay, that was bad. Now, interestingly, the Silver Surfer was created by Doug Jones wearing a prosthetic suit developed by Spectral Motion and a new visual effects program from Weta Digital, which augmented the surfer's reflective surface. Now, here's interesting. One of many interesting facts. Jessica Alba wore a blonde wig because her hair had suffered from all the bleaching in Fantastic Four. And for Michael Chiklis' performance as The Thing, a new set of prosthetics were developed. These prosthetics were easier for Michael Chiklis to wear, as they provided better ventilation and could be easily removed, in comparison to the previous film's prosthetics, which required 6 hours to apply, were uncomfortable, and could not easily be removed. Oh, that's nice. How heavy would the thing be on a plane? And I think that seat's busted. Okay, that's kind of a dick move, but that is kind of funny. Uh, yeah, of course. When you have the ability to flame on and fly, I think flying on a plane is kind of moot if you've got flight abilities. Yeah, I think Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer was one of the last non-MCU movies that Kevin Feige produced before forming the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is kind of crazy knowing that this was one of the last non-MCU movies to be made right after, right as the Fantastic Four, right as the Marvel Cinematic Universe was being made. Okay. And of course, this film is also co-written by Don Payne, who I know best for writing the first two Thor films and My Super Ex-Girlfriend. Was Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. The first Marvel movie Don Payne worked on. No. Sorry, experiencing technical difficulties. I think I know what I did. All right. Yeah. Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer is considered one of the earliest major Marvel film projects that were worked on by Don Payne. And it was his first credited Marvel work. And it was kind of crazy, but I guess given the film's humor, it kind of explains how Thor had that sense of humor as well. Now, as a way of promoting the film, 20th Century Fox brokered a deal with the Franklin Mint to produce 40,000 United States quarters with the Silver Surfer on the reverse. The U.S. Mint vetoed this promotion. Yep. For this outing, some slight revisions were made to makeup of the Thing, giving him a larger brow and broader shoulders. This brought the design more in line with the then recent comic book revision. And Johnny does that. Now, screenwriter Don Payne actually wanted to include the Inhumans, the Skrulls, the Puppet Master, Annihilus, and the Negative Zone in a potential third Fantastic Four movie, but sadly it was never made. He wrote a scene in the movie where Alicia wants to introduce Ben to her stepfather, but warns that he's a little difficult sometimes, but the scene was cut. Of course, everyone knows that Alicia's father is the Puppet Master. Uh-oh. We're doomed. Oof. They're just regular dancers. If Fantastic Four did get a third film, Tim Story wanted Jaimon Hansu to play Black Panther in this potential third Fantastic Four film. But ironically, Hansu ended up voicing Black Panther in an animated series in 2010. Wait, do I hear the sounds of someone from the 9-9? It's Captain Holt! Okay, I know it's not actually Captain Raymond Holt. I know it's Andre Braugher. But I'm familiar with Andre Braugher because of of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Originally, Nick Fury was supposed to be in the film, but he was written out of the script, probably due to the fact that Marvel owned the rights to Nick Fury, and he was instead replaced with General Hager, who is, played by the late Andre Braugher. It's kind of crazy seeing him in this before playing such a comedic role. Okay, I like this visual of him showing the visual of the explosion. You sure they're not exotic? I have to admire that he at least tried to say no, to really show that he's loyal to Sue. He even looks uncomfortable. That's good body language. It's like, I'm getting engaged. And he's probably thinking, damn it, Johnny. I think he's doing his best impression of me on the dance floor. Yeah, I would probably do that too if I had a stretch powers. I'm debating on whether these effects are better than the first film. I guess they're kind of a tad inferior to the visual effects that were used for Sandman in Spider-Man 3. At least that's my opinion. Oh, that smug smirk on his face. If this was written better, I'm sure Sue would have been more impressed by his dance skills. Yeah, you got a look that says, it's not what it looks like. Peralta. Yeah, if he had said that first, I'm sure she'd probably be like, of course Johnny did this. Now, Andre Brower actually turned down a supporting role in ER to play General Hager. For most of the production, the filmmakers were not sure whether the Silver Surfer was going to have a voice or not. Before Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver was made, Quentin Tarantino actually pitched the Silver Surfer movie to Constantine Film, the former owners of the film, former owners to the movie rights after directing Reservoir Dogs, but Constantine Film turned it down. And it actually turns out Andre Brower was a longtime fan of the Fantastic Four comics. Also, the Galactus' first scene where he destroys a planet at the beginning wasn't in the initial script. It was created during post-production. Fantastic Four Incorporated. I'm sure the actress is a model. In 1980, producer Lee Kramer wanted to make a Silver Surfer rock opera starring his then-girlfriend Dame Olivia Newton-John with music by Sir Paul McCartney. Water under the elongated bridge. Ooh, I'm sure if we saw her bachelorette party, the film probably would have lost the PG rating. In an early draft written by Don Payne, the surfer flew to a village in Mexico and the rain clouds would have poured chunks of gold. Release prints were delivered to theaters with the fake title Broomfield. Also, the dance sequence was the first visual effects scene done. It was visualized in October 2006 and completed in May of 2007. Good old Ben. Because he'll blab. Visible kick in the nuts. Yeah, says Johnny Storm. Oh, fireproof laundry. Are you sure this film is rated PG? Ah, this is actually a reference to. This is actually one of my favorite cameos from the film, and the only time Stan's name is ever mentioned. And it's also a reference to annual number 3 of Fantastic Four, The Wedding of Reed Richards and Susan Storm. Also, that cameo is the only. It's also the last cameo in a Fantastic Four film that Stan Lee would star in before his death in 2018. Which is funny because, Susan and Reed had kids, Franklin and Valeria. Now, some people have criticized Jessica Alba's performance, saying that, it wasn't good and all that, and apparently she hated it. She said that director Tim Story told her, "It looks too real, it looks too painful. Can you be prettier when you cry? Cry pretty, Jessica. Don't do that thing with your face. Just make it flat. We can CGI the tears in." Which, that's not good. So yeah, I forgot to mention this. The studio hated Doctor Doom's makeup, so he remains hidden under a cowl in most of his early scenes. Yeah, here comes the pride. Yeah, that's kind of like that smile on his face. So nervous, his legs are like jelly. And not an ash cologne. How sweet. Better than his relationship with Deb, I would say. Rock slide. Again, I ask, are you sure this film is rated PG? Because that would belong perfectly in a PG-13 rating. Because what kid is gonna get a rock slide? I mean, at least in When Harry Met Sally, it had a reason for being rated R. Now, of course, for those who don't know, for those who haven't read the comics, usually Doctor Doom is disfigured, which is why he wears a mask. But it actually isn't as grotesque as he builds it up to be. It actually is just a tiny scar, but Doctor Doom is so narcissistic that he believes he's so horribly disfigured that he wears that metal mask. Susan Storm's wedding dress is a custom-made design by the German luxury fashion brand Escada. Or is it Escada? 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 Now that actually sounds believable. And that might be one of the nicest things he's ever said. That actually feels genuine. Pardon the loud background noise. Alert cosmic radiation. That's not good. That's a Nokia. And originally, Tim Story wanted Dr. Doom to be a Doombot, but it was scrapped for being too complex. Oh, well, that's rude. Oh. I'll say. Now, Tim Story was inspired by the Ultimate Fantastic Four comic books for the design of Reed's lab. Also, the makeup process of the Thing for Michael Chiklis takes upwards of an hour and 15 minutes. Very much shorter than the 6 hours. In the original script, there were less scenes featuring the Surfer. The filmmakers added additional scenes featuring the Surfer in space after seeing that the posters had an enlarged Surfer. During the end of filming, Jessica Alba hinted that Sue may be pregnant. Uh-oh. Quickly, before that plane helicopter turns people into people salsa. Uh-oh. Nice save, Ben. I guess he really liked that tux. My wedding is ruined. I mean, why not just go to a courthouse to get married? That would have been saved you a lot of trouble. Okay, that is so cool, the way the Silver Surfer passes through that building like it's Jell-O. It really is awesome, and there we have it. I agree, Johnny. There we have it, the Silver Frickin' Surfer, who really looks awesome. Coincidentally, after I had seen Rise of the Silver Surfer, I then saw an airing of Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and the way the T-1000 looked when he's in his metallic form totally reminded me of Silver Surfer. And I do think, yeah, Silver Surfer looks totally awesome in this. I think we have not had a bad version of Silver Surfer in any live action rendition so far. I'm even going to say that Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four First Steps looks really awesome. And I am willing to defend that version. Both versions look awesome. That dude should have been roasted dead. Now, Silver Surfer, otherwise known as Norrin Radd, made his comic book debut in Fantastic Four number 48, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Galactus also debuted in Fantastic Four number 48 as well. No. If I had a nickel for every time Johnny Storm chased the Surfer and Surfer pretty much grabbed a hold of him in a confrontational manner, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's strange that it's happened twice. But yeah, the debut of Galactus and the Silver Surfer is actually is actually a 3-part story from Fantastic Four number 48 all the way till number 50, so it's 3 issues. And this is actually the first comic book movie that Lawrence Fishburne was ever involved in regarding Marvel, because he also provided narration for the 2007 TMNT movie. Now, before Lawrence Fishburne was cast, Djimon Hounsou, Gary Sinise, and Timothy Olyphant all auditioned for the voice of Silver Surfer. And at one point, before Galactus was reduced to a non-speaking role, initially Lawrence Fishburne was interested in voicing Galactus. But, well, that never happened. Surfer. Before Andre Braugher got the role of General Hager, Eddie Murphy, Denzel Washington, Bernie Mac, and Martin Lawrence were considered for the role, but they all turned it down. I don't know if I could really imagine Eddie Murphy in the role. As much as I love Eddie Murphy, it would be too strange, even for me. Now, a Silver Surfer film was being developed in the late 1990s with Jeffrey Wright to direct. Ewan McGregor and Steven Berkoff were eyed to play Silver Surfer and Galactus, respectively. Most of the film would have focused on the Surfer's human form due to special effects limitations. Gabriel Hardman revealed some of his storyboards and concept art for the film in 2020. And... Also, Fox commissioned James Gunn to write a Silver Surfer film in 1999, which is pretty funny because, 15 years later, we would get Guardians of the Galaxy in 2014. But I think, James Gunn probably would have been perfect for a Silver Surfer movie, as he's good with cosmic stuff. And it's funny because, Superman and Silver Surfer actually got a crossover comic book in the 90s, which was written and illustrated by the late George Perez. Also, Rise of the Silver Surfer is the first Marvel Entertainment movie to feature Galactus and the Silver Surfer. And one of the first shots the filmmakers tested for the Surfer was the chase sequence between him and the Human Torch through the tunnel. I don't feel so good. Uh-oh. Are you sure this film is rated PG? Nope. Apparently, it was Avi Arad's idea to do the whole power switching thing in the film. Not exactly. Oh, yeah, that's my fiance. I'll say. In 2000, Andrew Kevin Walker wrote a script for Silver Surfer, but it was also never produced. And some of the visual effects were completed at the very last moment. Yeah. I like Ben's jersey. Another tease of Ben as a human. Wouldn't it have made better sense for Johnny to have a much more ripped shirt? He's like, now you know how I feel. Why, you little... And it was Tim Story who came up with the scene where Sue is watching an entertainment report targeting her and the wedding. Ugh. Typical E-News. Toonami had a sweepstakes for the movie where viewers can look for the surfer on Saturday from 7 to 11 p.m. The grand prize winner would get a trip to San Diego with surfing lessons, and 200 second prize winners got Fantastic Four toys from Hasbro. Fantastic Four Rise to the Silver Surfer would become the first Fantastic Four movie to get a toy line from Hasbro, but of course, Fantastic Four 2015 would not get a toy line, I think. Baz Luhrmann, who is best known for directing Moulin Rouge and Elvis, was once considered to direct a Silver Surfer film as well. Turns out, the Surfer is his favorite superhero. There's actually a deleted scene where that features this thing called the Fantastic Store, where the team's merchandise was sold. Johnny was jealous that Ben's toys outsold his. You know, it's funny. I've got to visit Marvel Superhero Island, and I feel like the Fantastic Store would have fit right into Marvel Superhero Island. But of course, I don't see why Disneyland doesn't do Fantastic Store. I mean, Walt Disney World can't do any Marvel-related stuff. But Disneyland, which is in Anaheim, California, well, it's totally... it's not off limits, and they could totally do, they could totally do a Fantastic Store if they wanted to. It'd be kind of funny if they did. Now, one of the first challenges the filmmakers had with the Surfer was his look. They eventually picked the mirror mirror look, which I think helps make him look otherworldly. I kind of wish they had kept Doctor Doom as fully disfigured. It would have been a lot better. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Of course, if... Oh, wait a minute, you can't see my mouth. Well, that's just rude. Interest in a Silver Surfer movie piked after the release of a 1992 Silver Surfer short that was produced by the University of Southern California students as a CGI demo. It was officially licensed by Marvel and Constantine Film. Eric Fleming, who directed the short, said, "Now every studio is hounding Marvel Comics for the rights to the movie. We had made Constantine a $5 million commercial for their property. Overnight, Oliver Stone is calling, asking to direct it." For when Joni and Ben switch powers and then switch back, Tim Story had debated whether it would be cruel to have Ben regain his human form only to lose it again just moments later. Tim Story actually refuses to put giant robots in his movies. In this film, Galactus, normally portrayed in the comics as something resembling a giant robot, is of course shown as a gaseous cloud. However, both the shadow on Saturn as he passes by it and the fire mass within the cloud resemble his signature helmet. Ooh, a hole in the pool. Well, in the rivers of England. That's not good. For the scene where Sue uses her brother's powers, the filmmakers put tracking markers all over Jessica Alba and made a 3D flaming model. Uh-oh, that's not good. Well, good save, Sue. Almost like a pretzel. Now, the surfer here is portrayed by Doug Jones, who's also best known for playing Ape Sapien in the first two Hellboy films, as well as collaborating with Guillermo del Toro on many films, such as Pan's Labyrinth and also The Shape of Water. Uh-oh, that's not good. Oof. Oh, nice. That's actually quite a good way to fix it. Originally, Doug Jones was not only going to do motion capture, but also potentially voice the Silver Surfer. Of course, well, we got Lawrence Fishburne voicing him instead. Oh, she must have cleaned her nosebleed. Ouch. Yeah, that is clean of water. And yet the highways are still functional. I mean, the bridge. Okay, yeah, it's kind of understandable why General Hager would say, "What the hell was that?" After witnessing the power switcheroo. Totally makes sense. I probably would have liked it if he had kept the Doctor Doom suit. Oof. That totally won't backfire. It's not like he'll stab him in the throat, in the back. Yeah, it's like if I had a nickel for every time the heroes were forced to team up with the villain in the second film, I would probably have maybe three nickels. That being Blade 2, X-Men 2, and this. Or maybe I could double check. For most of the production, the filmmakers were not sure whether the Silver Surfer was going to have a voice, unless. Did I already mention that? It was Tim Story's idea to have the water turn to steam on Johnny. Oof. Oh, yeah. The Punisher from 1989, which I also probably won't do a commentary companions on, since not that many people give a fuck about the Dolph Lundgren movie. Isn't but that's beer. Usually beer would cause more flames. Actually, now I gotta look it up. How flammable is beer? Oh, beer is generally considered non-flammable at room temperature due to its low alcohol content, typically 4 to 6% alcohol, which is heavily diluted with water and wheat. While ethanol is flammable, beer requires significant heating, often above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, to release enough vapors to ignite. It does not pose a fire risk under normal conditions. Well, I did not know that. Aw, that's sweet. I mean, she is attractive. You could have just concluded with that. I do like the visual of Reed always stretching his arms to reach for things he normally can't reach. If a sequel had been made, well, apparently the filmmakers wanted to have Mole Man be included, and Danny DeVito was rumored to play Mole Man in the sequel before it was canceled. The filmmakers turned a parking lot into a Baxter Building balcony. I love how she helps him inadvertently discover things like these. Now, composer John Ottman reused many of the leitmotifs from the first movie. Now, it's established that the Silver Surfer gets his powers from his board, but that's actually not the case in the comics. In the comics, the Surfer is able to fly on his own and use his full gamut of powers without the aid of his surfboard. The board's purpose is that it significantly decreases the energy required for flight. Ooh, your scraps say otherwise. Spite. Yeah, she can do that. In Marvel Zombies Dead Days, she actually put a force field around the zombified She-Hulk's head and made her head explode, which is brutal, you know what I mean? Stevie. Pretty much sums him up. Now, Doctor Doom's mask was redesigned to make it closer to the comics. The forest scenes were shot in the same forest as was used in the first three X-Men movies. Oof. Yeah, apparently this whole Well, studied like a good little nerd is actually a reference to the Ultimate Comics. Kinda shallow. Yeah, it's taken nearly verbatim from Ultimate Extinction number 2, where he was speaking to Nick Fury. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't help but also think of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where he's like, says to Rosa, "How dare you, Detective Diaz? I am your superior officer!" Bone! I'll try to lay off the Brooklyn Nine-Nine jokes. I remember this scene with the with the bear. I wonder if that's an actual bear. Like, excuse me? Dun dun dun. I wouldn't do that if I were you. And he goes through the force field. Following this film's release, Doug Jones had a clause added to his contract, stating his voice would no longer be overdubbed by other actors. The sole exception is for projects in languages other than English, which actually makes sense because 1 year later, Doug Jones would reprise his role as Abe Sapien for Hellboy 2: The Golden Army. And in that film, we actually hear his actual voice, because in the first Hellboy film, Abe Sapien's voice was dubbed by an uncredited David Hyde Pierce. And, well, yeah, but of course that would not be the case in Hellboy 2, which I think is nice. I mean, I do sort of wonder what it would have been like if Silver Surfer hadn't had the dubbed voice. Because, Doug Jones doesn't get enough credit. Also, it's crazy to think that he was also Mac Tonight in the McDonald's commercials, and the zombie in Hocus Pocus. Blam! A pulse. He's not looking very silver. But now he just looks like Doug Jones in a rubber suit. Because, yeah, it's actually played with makeup effects. The Silver Surfer was originally going to say, "Come to me, my board," but that was scrapped because it was considered unnecessary. Jakutsk, Siberia. Remain here comfortably. Yeah, he wants the power. This is true. Now, the Silver Surfer's real name is Norn Rad, and Norn Rad is a Zenlavian from the planet Zenla. What could possibly go wrong? That actually worked. Man, Sue must have some quiet feet if she's able to tiptoe invisible. How convenient that he orders Mr. Sherman to take a break, which gives Sue enough time to get in there. Now, the Silver Surfer got his first solo series in August of 1968, lasting 18 issues. The series was written by Stan Lee and illustrated by John Buscema, with inking done by Buscema's brother, Sal Buscema. And the last issue, number 18, was illustrated by the Silver Surfer's creator, Jack Kirby. Now, John's brother, Sal, had worked on around 25 issues of Fantastic Four, notably in the 1980s, inking for his brother John and often illustrating, like I said. Just wanted to give a shout out to Sal as a way of honoring his memory. Rest in peace, Sal. You are missed. Ooh, I think this might be belly vision. Justified reason. Yep, you remind me of Shalabal. Yes. Which does sound like something out of a comic book. I do like that the shadow does sort of resemble the suit until it turns out, oh yeah, that's not actually Galactus, it's a frickin' dust cloud. Which really does bother me. Especially after seeing Fantastic Four First Steps. And I know it's not fair to compare that version of Galactus to the Galactus seen in Fantastic Four First Steps. I mean, I'm really trying my best to base Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer off of its own merits, but damn, it's hard to not... It is hard to overlook so many flaws like this. I mean, I'm not sure which is worse. I mean, the dust cloud for Galactus or Deadpool's mouth being sewn shut in X-Men Origins Wolverine. I think both are pretty enraging if you're a fan. Probably not. Would you look at that? Dr. Doom double-crossed General Hager. What a surprise. I think this might be the last we see of General Hager, which really makes me sad because, you know, I like a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine fans, I do miss Andre Braugher. Kind of wish that his suit was more green than black, but I guess it looks better than the Doctor Doom we saw in Fantastic Four 2015, which I will inevitably do a commentary and companions episode of. Oh my gosh, he looks so aroused doing it. Oh. Oh, that's a painful death. It makes me even more sad about since Andre Braugher's gone. Oh, Johnny should be dead. Well, I'm sorry. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. That would have killed anyone else. Yeah, Doom stealing the Surfer's powers is actually a reference to the Ultimate Marvel comic, Ultimate Extinction. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you the Fantasticar, which feels perfect to actually finally use in the third act. I remember, yeah, okay, sorry, I need to soak up its buildup. The crew actually really worked hard to make sure that the photos to the Fantasticar didn't get leaked. Well, at least he was honest about it. I believe Frankie Reyes is actually a comic book character, and she actually made her debut in Fantastic Four number 168 and actually became a herald of Galactus at one point in the comics. Oh, yeah, the Fantastic Car. I remember seeing the Fantastic Car in theaters as a 10-year-old, and yeah, I agree, it is the coolest thing ever, and I remember really wanting it for Christmas as a kid. That is, until I saw Transformers in theaters uh, and saw Optimus Prime on screen and wanted Optimus Prime for Christmas. He is the leader. But yeah, there have been a few versions of the Fantastic Car where Ben has gotten to ride the thing, well, to pilot it due to the fact that he's a great pilot. But yeah, the Fantastic Car made its comic book debut in Fantastic Four number 3 in 1962. And the vehicle is also notable for being introduced alongside the team's first official blue uniforms. It was Johnny Storm who would redesign it in Fantastic Four number 12 to be more ship-like. How many times have the Fantastic Four become fugitives? The Fantastic Four have become fugitives from the law or society multiple times throughout their long comic history, with notable instances driven by government overreach, Skrull impersonation, or personal choice. While there is no single official count due to the subjective definition of fugitive in long-running comics, some of the most significant instances include the Civil War comic book, following the Superhuman Registration Act, the Skrull imposter, when a Skrull impersonated Susan Storm, leading to a period where the team was framed or forced to operate outside the law while the real Sue was trapped. The fall of the Fantastic Four, in which the team had faced various, often temporary situations where they were hunted or forced into hiding, including the 1967 TV series and various comic arcs, for example, Fantastic Four No More. In an alternate reality, Age of X, Sue betrayed the team, leading to the rest being hunted, and on Counter-Earth, they were fugitives. And, individual members such as Johnny Storm, after a disastrous battle at ESU, have gone on the run, temporarily forcing the team to operate in secret. Spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, right round, round, round. Whee! They actually based the Fantastic Car's appearance in the movie here off of a stingray. That's what a waste. Poor Fantastic Car deserved better than that. Rather than a car crash. Ooh, this looks fatal. Ugh, right in her tit. I think. Yeah, I think he stabbed her in the tit. Uh-oh. In all his cloud unglory. Yeah, not very subtle. In the original script, it was Reed's idea to have Johnny assume all the team's powers to fight Doctor Doom, and Johnny had to be talked into it. Tim's story later made it Johnny's idea to make the scene Johnny's big moment and give Chris Evans a chance to really shine. And yeah, it's actually I certainly remember it. It is sort of cool, even if the CG effects are really dated. Of course, the Human Torch gaining all of the Fantastic Four's powers in the final battle against Doom is a direct reference to Super Skrull, who possesses all of the Fantastic Four's powers. I actually am familiar with Super Skrull. In fact, Super Skrull made his comic book debut in Fantastic Four number 18, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. He was pretty much engineered by the Skrull Emperor to possess the combined powers of the Fantastic Four, which includes invisibility, flame manipulation, stretching, and superhuman strength. And he has such a cool design with his right arm looking like the Thing's arm, and sometimes he's on fire, and his other arm is stretching, or maybe his entire body is stretching. It's still an awesome design, and yeah, seeing Johnny Storm acting like Super Skrull is pretty awesome. Nice. I can imagine some troll would add the goofy holler when when Doctor Doom just lands in the river like that. I think while this was meant to be the official defeat of Doctor Doom, I'm sure it would have teased the idea of a third film with Doctor Doom as the villain, which would have made sense. Maybe he teams up with maybe Doctor Doom would team up with Mole Man, Super Skrull, and the Nihilus. Who knows? I mean, it is kind of bittersweet that Sue dies surrounded by her family. Come to me, my board. Oh, look at that. The surfer is getting his shine back. Okay, but before I go, and while this may seem like a ridiculous Deus Ex Machina, it turns out Silver Surfer actually can bring people back from the dead. It's true. I didn't even know this until I did my research. But if I had $1 for every time Sue died trying to stop Galactus, or something like that, well, then because of Galactus and some cosmic being brought her back from the dead, I'd have $2. Which isn't a lot, but it's strange that it's happened twice. Want to hear what heaven looked like? And it was actually in Fantastic Four number 50 that Silver Surfer defied Galactus. This resulted in Norrin Rad being exiled to Earth, establishing him as a superhero. Now, in the comics, yeah, Galactus is best known for being in purple clad armor. And before he became Galactus, he was a Ta-On humanoid known as Galan from the planet T, or maybe Ta. Uh, Galan is spelled Galan, and planet Ta is spelled Taa or Tea, or maybe it's a T, and Ta'an is spelled Taa dash An. At least that's I'm trying to pronounce it to the best of my ability.
It's like, you are so fired.
Yep. Well, I give you my full resignation. I mean, it is sort of a cool visual, but man, I liked it better when Silver Surfer in First Steps was more defiant against Galactus. But I'm gonna try my best to not like I said, I'm really trying my hardest to not compare Rise of the Silver Surfer to First Steps. I mean, that's not fair. And thanks to the Silver Surfer, Earth is saved. Want to hear what heaven was like? Ben looked like he held back a fart. No switcheroo. Once again, the Earth is saved thanks to the Fantastic Four. Why would Ben assume that? Yeah, after all, they are Marvel's original family of superheroes. Fifth time. Let's go to a courthouse. A nice, quiet ceremony in Japan. And the same priest. Ah. Should have put that thing on airplane mode. It's like, do you? Yes. Do you? Yes. Boom, you're married. I now pronounce you married. Yep, time for the Fantastic Four to get back to work. And the bouquet has brought out the worst in many a lady. Tuh. Well, that was rude. Yep. At least they fixed the Fantastic Car. Oh, and it separates too, just like in the comics. And that was Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. Is it an improvement over the first film? Yes, but it's also not the best film on its own. It's still kind of mediocre. And yeah, some of the creative liberties done to the film are definitely not perfect. Oh, look at that. Norrin Rad managed to not stay dead, teasing a sequel that would never happen. But yeah, like I said, the Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, not exactly one of the best films ever, but certainly better than Fantastic Four 2015. But yeah, I have sentimental soft spot for it, but even I know that the film doesn't exactly hold up, and there are so many ideas that could have been done better for this film. And but you know, and it's actually kind of a sad way for the franchise to go out on, because not only did Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer do poorly at the box office, it also this resulted in the third film being canceled, and it resulted in a Silver Surfer spin-off being canceled as well. And because Fox and Constantine were so desperate to keep the rights from Marvel, they decided to make a half-assed reboot, which I will talk about later, inevitably. Of course, I gotta go through all the other non-MCU movies. And of course, my next non-MCU movie that I will do a commentary companions episode for will be Punisher Warzone, which I do have to watch. And I'll also, I hope to do a commentary companions episode on the Disney Beauty and the Beast movie from 1991 for Valentine's Day and to celebrate its 35th anniversary. But until then, I'm Tony the Happy Nerd. This has been Commentary Companions. Be sure to like and subscribe. Don't have a good day. Have a great day.